Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Dynamic. Berto is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today, as usual. Folks, can you believe it? In less than a week, and it seems like this is how it's starting to happen all of the time. This is how it's happening all of the times. We have another mass shooting again. The question that I have to ask is, how much will we have to continue taking? How much will we have to endure? Now it is a disgruntled employee at a Walmart in Virginia. Come on, people. Why aren't we doing something about this? Why do we continue to allow the few people that just cannot put life over money, the people that cannot put power over money? How can we continue to allow this to continue? How can we do it? You know, it was, I guess, 1 a.m. when I saw it flashed over, and it's like, there we go again. There we go again. One more mass shooting again. Again, this is no longer the politicians' fault. This is no longer the billionaires' fault. It is our fault for not going ahead and sticking with the program to get to extricating all of those who support all these rules that allow this to happen. No other country on the planet do we get this. No other country on the planet. Anyway, welcome to Politics Done Right. Hey, Michael Rudden, I put up my rebroadcaster up about a few seconds too late, so please go ahead and repost your content again, because I missed that on the rebroadcaster that I am using because I started it late. My fault. Sorry about that. But before we get started, we have to salute our people. Bruce Pollard is in the house. Paul Fleming Sr. is in the house. Michael Rudnan is in the house. We also have Eric Hayes, who was in the house as well at noon. We had Maywood at noon as well, but I don't see him here in this after. Oh, Maywood is here again. Welcome aboard, Maywood. And Bridge MCP, welcome to you, my dear beautiful lady. Who else have I got in the house? If I missed you, Bruce Pollard, I think I called you out. Let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes, I think I called you up. Anyhow, Bruce Pollard says, the food bank by remote, ready to smoke a turducken mañana. Family in town. Great. Tell your entire family. Egberto says, hi. You know, they're loved. We were neighbors. They moved a few miles down the road, but we were great neighbors. Kids used to walk to school together, all of that. Bruce, remember the good old days? At least we stayed in touch, brother. All right. Bridge MCP says, Georgia's Herschel Walker is reportedly getting a tax break in Texas on his Dallas area home that's intended only for a primary residence. For Walker, this appears to create the latest in a series of problems. The Senate hopeful launched a campaign in Georgia in 2021, then took the homestead tax exemption in Texas later in the year, only to then take the same homestead tax exemption in Texas again this year. Whoa, he must think he's going to lose. That's why he did it, because as soon as he loses in Georgia, he's going to run right back to Texas. Bridge MCP says, hey, peeps. Michael Rodney says, replying, a local politicians living in a different state than the one that's given government is kind of a big deal. You know what else? It is voter fraud, right? If he voted for himself in Georgia while he resides in Texas, that's voter fraud. Isn't that what Republicans talk about all of the times? I think that's voter fraud. Anyhow, going back, we got Michael Rudden says from Time Magazine, how Donald Trump's control over the GOP became a hostage situation. Trump isn't likely to win the Republican Party nomination during the 2024 primary due to his toxic nature. So Trump's plan is running independent in 2024 with our first past the post elections. That would ensure Republicans lose in 2024. Blue Wave 2024, Trump and the MAGA supporters better start pushing ranked choice vote now while they still have time to change things. Possibly the only good thing that can come out of Trump third party run is to open the path for more third parties in our future, break the duopoly, leaving a lasting benefit to the American people who are already plurality, self-described independents. And I will be ready if we can establish that. Like I've told many, I'll be ready to get the Progressive Party going. I will be ready to get the Progressive Party going. Love that. Michael Rundin also said, USA Today, Taliban last 12 people before stadium crowd, resuming a punishment from group's 1990s reign. In the immediate aftermath of their second takeover of the country, the Taliban promised to be more moderate and allow for women's and minority rights. Instead, they have restricted rights and freedoms, including a ban on girls' education beyond the sixth grade, the first confirmed public lashing since the year's Taliban takeover took place November 11, when 19 men and women received 39 lashes each for alleged theft, adultery, and running away from home. Hundreds of people attended the lashings, and that ban was imposed on taking photos and videos. What the F is this? Yep, the Taliban just want to dominate their women in peace. But this is more violent and repressive than ever I thought it would become. Who knows, man? All right. Let's see what else we got here. Paul Fleming says, ATL checking in. Michael Rudden says, that's a private communication. You must work for said paycheck. Don't know what you're talking about, but I think we all work for paychecks, you know. Walmart disgruntled employee. Yeah. Bridge MCP said, I thought so as well, Michael Rudden. Yeah, they said that from last night, I think. I was up till 2 in the mornings, and that's when I was watching it with the foreign lady on CNN. Okay, Eric says, quit gaslighting politics on people being killed. Why is that gaslighting? People are being killed with guns that Republicans allowed to be effected on the markets. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's not gaslighting. Gaslighting means you're talking about something that isn't real, okay? This is real. A guy went into a store and blew people's heads off. A guy went into a gay club with an AR-15 or a lookalike and knocked a whole lot of people off. And until a guy without a gun pulled them down, he would have killed a hell of a lot more. But quite a few of them are in the hospital injured. That's not gaslighting. That's a fact. Senor Rudnin says, today, gunman opens fire in Virginia Walmart. I saw that. Okay. Eric, I read it because I only see 4 comments at a time, and it scrolls away. I was reading. Bruce Pollard says, there must be reason for it all. Yeah, there is. Bad policy. Paul Fleming says, good news. The Georgia Supreme Court is allowing early voting the week before holiday, but it's reinstating the 6-week abortion law passed by Republicans. Give you some, take some away, I guess. All right, British MCP says, well, Walmart is closed, Tom, so the gun nuts can be with family. I hear you. Hit the like button. That's right, folks. If you are on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the like button. A lot of folks aren't here right now. People are probably heading out to the road. Hey, guys, you can watch Politics Done Right on your phone in the car now. Paul Fleming says, or rather, Eric Hayes, Egberto, you had your buddy Barry too. Yeah, Barry came back. Barry is a long time follower. Like I said, I got a lot of right-wingers on that listen to me and that actually have conversations. And the reason I like to have Barry is I get a chance to point out the complete set of errors in his constant erroneous thinking, and it helps me promote the message to right-wingers who are of thinking, who are willing to think, that is. Let's see. Paul Fleming says, if guns aren't the problem, but people are, then why are we allowing problem people to have guns? Thank you. I like the error that you did there. That's really good. All right, let's see what else we got here. Go point, Paul Fleming. All right, British MCP says, yes, AVQ, Egberto Willis better take off Tom. I will call Ashley and Linda and kick his butt. No work, Tom. You're going to kick my butt even worse when you find out what's happening on Thursday, Breach. I dare not tell you right now because you're going to say, oh, you what? But it's for a cause for Thursday. But trust me, you'll love me later on. Put it that way, Breach MCP. Put it that way, Breach MCP. You know I love you, girl. All right, let's see what else we got here. Biden administration in Afghanistan brought the Taliban. Oh, boy. Paul Fleming says the DOJ will be selling answers from Pence and on January 6th. A mass shooting happens on a daily basis in America. That's what I heard. Yvette Avery Herod, our beautiful union specialist, is in the house. Good afternoon, PDR Posse is what she says. Quit gaslighting on Hunter Biden. Oh, you understand what gaslighting is all about, Breach. Eric Hayes, politics is disgusting in people being killed. Yeah, people are being killed because of the bad politics of the Republican Party. Yes, you're right. Michael Ryan says, NPR, November 20, America has seen at least 601 mass shootings so far in 2022. Shame on us. Eric K says, Barry blew me up. You're the only one who would think that. That's what's called looking at things through the lens of color, my dear Eric Hayes. That's not what I heard. Everybody sent me texts. Oh, man, you destroyed that right-winger capitalist guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, for which, of course, I knew. Michael Rudden says, see, the thing about Hunter Biden is that he is a private citizen with no personal role in government. He's not a billionaire who's evading taxes, and he's not a celebrity pushing some agenda. So we don't care about Hunter Biden. Exactly. Paul Fleming says, America has a terrorism problem that Republicans don't want to talk about or solve. So we can't solve this problem or any other unless Democrats control of government. And that's what we're going to have to in 2024. Bridge MCP says, Egberto Willis, but no show then? There will be I'm preparing the shows for tonight. Okay? I can't, Bridge, I have responsibilities to our audience. And notice I said our audience, right? And not everybody is here today. And some folks, believe it or not, don't celebrate Thanksgiving and all of that. So I try to make sure to keep a good ground for everybody, for those who, so I'll have a show tomorrow. And but tomorrow's show will be taped. I'm going to go ahead, and it's not going to be it's going to be a new show. But I'm going to go ahead and pull pieces from a lot of different areas to make the show and also give my Thanksgiving message. I'll also include a few things from Steve Schmidt, which I discussed on KPFT today. In fact, tomorrow's show would probably have pieces of the KPFT show, which was really good on the issue of Steve Schmidt and what America really is, etc. So yes, I will. Biddy James TV says, Michael Rudd and Eric Hayes, you'd figure this was something to do with mass shooting. $50 million in anti-trans radio ads are airing in 25 states. Some of the ads come from a group backed by Trump. True. Carl Cox says, GOP wants guns in everyone's hands so they can overthrow democracy in America. I think they want them killing each other so that we forget that the people who are causing problems are whom. So, there are a lot of reasons, but, we got to be smarter. We got to know what we're doing. And we know what we're doing. We just have to keep building our momentum to do the things that we need to do. All right, I'm going to play my first video. And the first video that I'm playing today, I only have two, and then we'll go to another subject. The first video is Adam Kinzinger and what he actually thinks about McCarthy and whether McCarthy will be successful. I think it's important because we need to prepare to see if this may be an exception where Democrats have to unite with Republicans just to get a Republican speaker. I don't think it has ever happened, but there's a possibility that it could. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side. Kevin McCarthy think he's going to be speaker, the Republican Speaker of the House coming up. He's having to make deals. There are some today who are saying they have 5 votes to stop him. They only have a 4-vote majority. So that would, in effect, stop him. It's interesting because somebody who knows the House very well, Adam Kinzinger, says that, just maybe he gets the speakership, but it's going to be, if he gets it, short-lived. Listen to what he has to say. We'll take it on the other side.
What kind of speaker do you think Kevin will be, Kevin McCarthy?
Look, I mean, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said a pretty good one. Now I think he has cut so many deals with bad people to get to this position that I think he's not going to be a leader at all. I think he'll be completely hostage to kind of the extreme wings of the Republican Party. And I frankly don't think he's going to last very long. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but it's sad to see a man that I think had so much potential just totally sell himself. He's the one that resurrected Donald Trump. The second he went to Mar-a-Lago a week or two after January 6th, he resurrected Donald Trump politically. So he owns everything that Trump says now as a candidate for re-election.
Yep. I tell you what, we are in for some interesting times next year. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, folks, Mike Cisak. Look at what Mike Cisak wrote. CNN Alison Camerota left speechless after reporting live on air. The Colorado shooter is non-binary. Why should that have left her speechless? Don't you know the mechanics of hate? The mechanics of hate is simply about the perpetrator. How should I put this? Simply about the perpetrator not liking themselves or working on hate, right? Come on. Please, wake up. And remember what non-binary means. People whose gender identity doesn't sit comfortably with man or woman. What does that mean? Non-binary doesn't mean leftist. And even if it does mean leftist, and leftist with an AR-15 that was sanctioned by Republicans, come on, man. Come on. You're not making your case, my brother. Michael Ronan says the 147 who voted to overturn election results. Kevin McCarthy is part of the sedition caucus. This is not someone who should have any sort of leadership role. This is someone who deserves a 14th Amendment challenge to his seat. I agree. Daniel Edo says, let's go around and all say what we are thankful for. I'll start. I'm thankful for shows like PDR. It has helped me to understand the insanity of the neo-Marxists and has even softened my heart towards them as one does for the retarded and the mentally ill. Thank you very much, Daniel. I mean, it was sounding kind of kind, but then you actually used the word retarded and mentally ill. Guys, I'm sorry that Ledo thinks I'm retarded and mentally ill. But, because I know from whence his information comes, Mr. Ledo, I forgive you. Mr. Ledo, thank you for your message. And thank you for having something nice to say. Bree says, I'm thankful for shows like PDR. It has helped me to understand the insanity of the extreme right conspiracy people. See? See what I mean? We entertain all points of view. And Maywood says, Eric Hayes, unless you don't get a paycheck like a lot of the 1% and some CEOs. Exactly. Let's see. Michael says, Daniel Ledo, conservatives like you have a habit, of making accusations in the mirror. Transference and projection is strong with you. Exactly right. I mean, I smile at that because the projection is amazing. David Page says, I'm thankful for the diversity of programs on YouTube, and I wish to see Egberto achieve massive success here. David Page, thank you so kindly. Michael Rodnan says, I'm thankful for family and internet despite the troubles I have with both. That is a wonderful. Egberto, what about the 150 stars for banking will blow up investigation? Okay, we'll see. All right, let me tell you guys, what am I thankful for? Actually, I'm very, very thankful. I'm thankful for having first and foremost, a family that I know loves me. And I'm not only talking about my wife and my daughter, who you guys have gone through and know the tribulations that we've had with my daughter having 2 strokes, but my family right here, my PDR posse. I want to tell you guys, I couldn't be more thankful for having a group that's dedicated to be here every day, sometime twice a day, and for the thousands that watch in the podcast format on Spotify, Apple Casts, Stitcher, and all these other platforms. I am happy for all of that. I'm blessed. I wish I had more. I had more contributors. I need more contributors. I wish I had more because that's the only way we're going to survive. But I'm thankful that I'm growing. I am growing every month. Slowly, slow and steady. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful that our posse here consists not only of lefties like myself, But right-wingers like Eric and Ledo and Lee Grant and Mike Cisak, I really enjoy them. We discuss, we debate. I'm glad to have a good friend like Norman online and Bruce Pollard online, and all of you that actually we've met in person. I'm happy that I have great supporters like Bridge MCP, who also takes care of making sure YouTube doesn't go too crazy. Likewise with Michael Rudnin, who makes sure that YouTube doesn't go very crazy. I have so much to be thankful for. Sydney says, a class analysis like Marxism is highly threatening to the other side. A class analysis like Marxism is highly threatening to the other side. The funny thing about it is I don't even want to label what I want, because I want certain things into the free enterprise system and certain things into government, you know? Let's see. Deborah says, I'm thankful for Egberto and his books and PDR. You are so intelligent. I can hardly imagine why someone would say these things. You know, Deborah, we have a lot of work to do, right? There's a lot of investments that were made in misleading people, starting even before the Powell Manifesto. But the Powell Manifesto, the Powell Memo, codified the path that the billionaires, the millionaires, the business class was going to use to dumbify America. Oh, my daughter told me not to use that word. To make America less aware. Okay? So we have to work with people to try and mitigate that. Paul Fleming says, I'm thankful for my family, even though this will be the second Thanksgiving without my son. I am a faithful man who knows that our Father doesn't make mistakes. Paul, I remember when your son passed, I was in Washington, D.C. just before Thanksgiving with my daughter in bed with a stroke. And she could tell you, as I relayed the story to her, I couldn't help but crying, because she was in a state of touch and go several times. Actually, even in October, she was still at the touch and go stage where we didn't know if she was going to make it or not. So I could immediately empathize with you, and it hurt me to the core when you relayed that to us, Paul. But I tell you what, Paul, your son is your reflection and vice versa. And that's how I felt about my daughter. I felt that no matter what happens, you know, we had a good life. We're very close, as you were with your son. So that was wonderful, being able to empathize in those times. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Egberto, you got that miracle and that Thanksgiving for that with your daughter. Eric, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It was a miracle. Her head was exploding. The swelling almost popped. I mean, you are so right. But Paul, I hope you're doing. I know it never goes away. When my father died, I still feel my father every time, because we were close as well with my father, and it's over 10 years, and you still feel it. But you know what? You also cherish the great times that you had with the loved one. So I love my father, and when we went, it was tough. But now anytime I remember things, we'll sit down and talk about the fun that we had and the dancing that he did. If we have pictures with him dancing around, and we'll play the videos with him just dancing, because he was a hell of a salsa dancer. You know, he could do his salsa, man. Real Oscar de Leon and everybody else, you know. So anyhow. Yes. Anyhow, yes. Let's see what else we got. AVQ says, Sydney, most of the troubles with society stems from that class struggle between billionaires and their sycophants versus everyone else. And we have Daniel Ledo says, LOL, oh, I know I am a complete POS. I have no illusions. I am some kind of moral, untarnished, superior individual. I am certain most of you have lived a much more kind, sinless life than me. But I also don't live in reality of lies. I'll take dirty truth to clean fantasy. I don't know what to say, Daniel Ledo. That seemed like a rather disturbing statement if that's how you live, but stick with us. You know, we are here to serve. Stick with us, man. Stick with us. Know that and I mean this, you have family here, Ledo. You really, really do. You really do. All right, I got another video for you. I mean, what time is it? We're going to be, I can play that other video now. Anand Giridharadas. I want you to listen to this one in detail. It's about the billionaires. And take a look at this, and then we'll take it on the other side. Anand Giridharadas breaks it down. He talks about that immature, very socially limited Elon Musk, the billionaire, and how bad a week he's had last week. Donald Trump, another purportedly billionaire. We know he really isn't. Bad week that he had. The guy who runs FTX and collapsed it from 30-something billion dollars just went up into the air. Another billionaire, and then, of course, we have the one and only Jeff Bezos, who made a big splash. I'm giving away $100 billion to Dolly Parton. After having had given away $100 billion to two other, Andres, Cook Andres, and also, the former guy that worked for, I can never remember his name. Anyhow, that's not important. And he gave away a lot of money just to then after announce, I am laying off 10,000 people. I am on this billionaire kick because billionaires have no right to exist because nobody makes $1 billion. There's nobody whose worth is $1 billion in today's current value of our money. This is all on the backs of others. And it is so hard to get across to people that it's a choice that we've made to allow others to manipulate us in such a manner that they can use our excess labor, excess worth, and just take it, amass it, and think that, well, I made it. I am the one who made this money. We have to reframe people's minds into understanding that that's not their money. But anyhow, listen to Anand Giridharadas, and then we'll go ahead and take it on the other side.
Anand's latest piece for the New York Times is titled, "This Week, Billionaires Made a Strong Case for Abolishing Themselves." Anand, you write this in part, quote, "Elon Musk is running Twitter into the ground with much of the company's staff fired or quitting, outages spiking, and everyone on my timeline hurrying to tell the app the things they have been meaning to say before it departs." Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, made a big splash when CNN released an interview in which he announced he was giving the great bulk of his more than $120 billion fortune away. Just minutes after his philanthropy announcement on CNN, news broke Amazon would be laying off thousands of workers. Then, of course, there was Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced crypto kingpin whose spectacular downfall, along with that of FTX, the company he founded, caused $32 billion to disappear, much of it belonging to hundreds of thousands of regular people. Finally, of course, this week, there was Donald Trump. On Tuesday night, he addressed a crowded room at Mar-a-Lago and, as expected, announced he was going to run for president again. So, Anand, I'll let you flesh out the case a little bit here.
First of all, I think something we often forget as Americans is that billionaires exist as a class of people who have that much money at our collective pleasure, right? It is a policy choice to allow some people to accumulate that much money, hundreds of billions of dollars in the case of people in the United States, before everybody has the chance to live with dignity, right? Other countries make that choice very differently. We have chosen historically to heavily prioritize having billionaires over having dignity for all people. And that's a choice I would just start by saying that we could make differently in the future. And so I wrote the piece to try to remind people of that choice we have. And last week was remarkable. I mean, I've written about billionaires for years and talked about these issues on the show, but it was hard to imagine a week when there was so many spectacular reminders of the way in which this kind of billionaire class is inconsistent with democracy as we live it. Elon Musk is a sort of adolescent in his 50s. Everybody can see that. I don't think anybody would say Elon Musk is a normal 51-year-old man who has bought this platform that he himself calls a global town square, certainly functions, has that kind of social importance. And because of what is so evidently his own feeble limitations, he's a limited man. His limitations become all of our problem. They ramify into all of our lives. They start to, unleash anti-Semitism because he wants Kanye back on the platform. And Kanye announces shalom when he comes back after his big anti-Semitism benders in recent years. He brings back Donald Trump, who's kind of unleashed the white nationalist demons in this country on that platform and off in ways that are obviously have caused us to come to the brink of losing our democracy. Elon Musk's big idea is let's bring him back. He's gutted the company. Photos of him from the company at a so-called code meeting show that there's basically like no women left working around him. It's just a big sausage fest in there working, in the team that he has remaining around him. And then, the rest of the week was Jeff Bezos doing this big song and dance about philanthropy, while then an hour later, his company lays off thousands of people right before Thanksgiving, going home, having to tell their kids, mommy or daddy doesn't have a job anymore because of this guy who's apparently giving money away to help people, I guess, like us who don't have jobs. You have Sam Bankman-Fried, an incredible example of someone who had these he wasn't even into philanthropy in this moment. He was still just making money and telling us that simply the way he was making money was going to help all of us. He was going to smash the system, man. He was going to bring down the big banks, and he was going to create this new era of finance for everyone. You could all get in on the crypto thing, and he just lost everyone's money. He makes the big banks look good by comparison. And then, of course, Trump, who I always have appreciated. He's not even necessarily an actual billionaire, but I've always appreciated the nakedness. Unlike some of these other guys, he doesn't do a very good job of pretending that he's for the public benefit. He certainly ran on a campaign of smashing the system in 2016, but he is very nakedly revealing what I think is true of this group in general, which is that their existence as billionaires is sort of antithetical to our flourishing as a democracy.
He hits the nail on the head. Folks, we have been trained, we have been indoctrinated from birth that there was something special about these guys, the corporate titans, the billionaires, etc., who've amassed all this money. I promise you, this is not about wealth envy. This is not about envying the rich at all. Again, this is about having a fraudulent economic system. It's legal because that's the laws that we pass, but a fraudulent economic system that takes away your worth, take away your income, and concentrates it to a few, and then they go out and say, we've earned this, and we don't want to pay taxes we are paying enough taxes as it is already. And a lot of people kind of believe that because in reality they pay more taxes than we do. But that is because they stole all our money, and that tax that they're paying is just given back. Look, we've discussed this subject a whole lot of times, and when one is indoctrinated from birth, it's hard to reprogram one's mind. I had to reprogram my mind to understand it. And let me tell you, it's a club that you have to be invited to, but you don't have to be invited into one that does make quite a bit of money. And I can tell you, folks, we have to be cognizant of what's going on because it's unsustainable. And if we don't do and start doing what it takes to solve this problem now, the pitchforks are coming. And the problem with when the pitchforks come is they won't first be getting the billionaire class or whatever. It's going to be that initial fight among the peons that then escalates. So folks, let's get with the program. Let's make sure to start passing policies that gets back all that money that was taken on our backs. Hey, folks, exactly right. I mean, look, I want to speak directly to my right wingers. Really, I do not envy rich people. I I want to say something, but I don't want to sound. All right, I'm just going to say it. The products that I made, if I were a true capitalist, I would have been filthy rich. But I couldn't do it. And I think I've written some articles explaining the reason why. All the things that I had the wherewithal to do with my company, all very, very legal, I didn't. I couldn't. When I talk about billionaires being psychopaths, that's what I mean. When you are in business, not because you can do something, given the current economic model that we have, mean that you would. Thank you for having been here, Maywood. And I hope you have a good trip. I think you're going to, I don't know where you're going, but have a good trip. Not because an economic system affords us the right to do something means you should. And like I said, a lot of people just talk and they say things. I am an open book in that you can go see what kind of products I made and what they sold for, all that good stuff right now. So you can know that what I'm telling you is not just pulling stuff out of my you-know-what. But like I said, I didn't. And this isn't for a pat on my back at all. And that's the reason I'm hesitant in the way I say it. Because believe it or not, most people make the same choice that I made. In my case, I made the choice having had a company or several companies. Other people make the choice in that as opposed to sucking up to a boss or working hard, they knew that they had kids at home to care for, or they knew that they had other things that they cared for. Okay? Most people, in fact, are good, like I speak about all of the times. But most of the folks that always talk about making my money work for me and using all these cliches and just thinking about profit maximization or capital maximization, they are psychopaths. Who needs $120 billion and what is that doing for others? And how could that be attained? It couldn't, folks. It couldn't. And the thought process that I am trying to get over is that in our schooling, in our education, we teach a false sense of individualism. We are not individuals. We are society. We work better. We built all these things based on society, including the things we built for the billionaires out of society. And it's a hard concept to grasp because they tell you should think individualistically, at the same time maximize profits, but the avenues there for you to maximize profits not there because billionaires and the big maxes out of a growing pie, they continuously take a bigger percentage of that growing pie. I am not creating things out of thin air. These are all mathematical formulas you can pull out of our economy. It's all there. And when I speak about these issues, I'm not speaking about them to deplore or demean the average American citizen, because we just know the things that we're told. We're told things like the private sector is more efficient than the private sector is more efficient than the public sector. That's a false statement. That somehow the private sector does things better than the public sector. That's all false. That's all false. When I create programs that I sold, it was better for me to do it on my own for that particular domain, but as a total of society, we work better together. How did I develop those programs? Based on what I learned in college, based on what I learned on my own, based on what others have taught me. It's a society. Nobody lives on their own, but those who accumulate, they are psychopaths. Because they actually believe that they did it on their own. And then they've taught you in school to go and defend them, because if you just do things like Jeff Bezos, you will be a billionaire like Jeff Bezos. That's a false statement. You have to be invited into the club. And how do you get invited into the club? Many ways to get invited into the club. Venture capitalists, a bank that decided that, okay, I'm going to subjectively give you a particular loan. All of that is a part of entry into the game, and not everybody gets entry into the game. It's so important that we understand that we are not a meritocracy. It's so important. We are not a meritocracy. And all of you who are defending billionaires and thinking they're worth it or whatever, it's just a figment of your imagination that they've taught and implanted into you. But you see, I have faith in all of you, right? Because I know, let's use Brother Cisak as an example. Cisak has informed us that he's a farmer. There is nothing that our plutocracy is doing to help the individual farmer. They would make you believe that all kinds of things out there, like, oh, regulations are hurting farmers or whatever. But the funny thing about all these regulations that supposedly hurt farmers is, first of all, many regulations had a reason to exist. But the thing about it is the regulations that they usually want to take off usually benefits the big farms, etc., who eventually buy out the little farmer, who eventually screws the little farmer. You see? But we have to first, what I tell people, and this is what I told the one of the Democratic groups I spoke to. We have to acknowledge our worth first. We have to look into that mirror. Look into that mirror and say, I am worthy. There's nothing within Bezos. All right? There's nothing within Bezos that I don't have. Bezos may have made other choices than I have, but that does not make, because Bezos knows how to work an economic system, doesn't make Bezos better. Let me see. Tom says, Mike Cisak, proof please. If Ukraine money is being laundered and sent to the Democratic Party, I'll renounce Biden and the Democrats and become an independent. Provide evidence so I can agree with you. I know. When you get into that path downhill, that's all that ever happens, Tom. Hey, Tom, yesterday I told you that your stuff had been posted. Did you receive that or not? Did you get the link from me that has a list of all your write-ins? I just want to make sure that you know that I did it. Sydney also says, come on, people. Ukraine doesn't have money to give away. They're fighting for their lives. Eric Hayes says, how is Billionaire telling you are not worthy? How are they telling you you're not worthy? They're telling you to attain what they've attained, you have to work as hard as they did, which doesn't compute because most of them really hadn't worked hard. Look, my money comes from very small book sales, contributions that come from all of my supporters, from a little bit of advertising on my webpage, and a little bit of advertising on my I forgot what the other thing is. That's it, right? But I put in 16 hours a day. If I have something that does well, it's great. Does Bezos work harder than I do? No. But if Bezos were to talk to me, Bezos would say, well, I am working more intelligently than you. And how do you define more intelligently than me? He would say, well, based on okay, I will go ahead and send you a link again that enumerates all of your authorships because you have a whole bunch of blogs on my site. So I'll send you a link to that. In fact, as we speak. I tell you what, let me play my ask. And as I play my ask, I'm going to look for that link and put it so that everybody can see your writing. So here is the ask, folk. Politics done right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet seeded with blogs and information to counter the right and to present what progressives represent for the benefit of us all to everybody so that it's not misread, misled by any other entity. We make sure and populate that internet with blogs, with videos, with all these other things to make sure that we are informed and to counter everything that you normally hear that are lying at the right. We also make sure to create articles in magazines, articles in newspapers all around the country to ensure, again, that our message gets out there. Last but not least, we also write books. As you see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom, How to Make America Utopia, are two of the many books that I've written on these issues. So please support us in one of many ways. Numero uno, you can support us at PayPal, either one time or monthly. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can support us on Patreon. That is politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. You can support us by becoming a part of our YouTube channel, going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, or you can support us in many other forms that you can find at politicsdoneright.com/support. Be sure to visit our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. All right, I found it, Tom. That is your link. Every time you write an article or whatever that gets posted at Politics Done Right, you're the author, and if you look at that link, if you click on that link, and folks, give our brother, one of our PDR Posse members, click on that link. Those are some of the poems that he's written that's placed on our site. And by the way, all of you guys that are PDR Posses, if you guys want to have any material that's placed on our site, please feel free to send it to me and just give me permission to print it, post it on the link. And we'll go ahead and, print it here. Because like I said, this is our family site here. We post all our stuff. Robert Davenport says, be sensible people. Most of what we gave to Ukraine came back to us to the military-industrial complex. Robert Davenport, you hit the nail on the head. They shed their blood to protect their freedom with our weapons. Please have a brain and a heart. Tom C. says, Limerick, a most dangerous man named Pompeo wants politicians in school to say no to honest teachers just teaching, rather have them all preaching with biased brains like Mike's Maid or Play-Doh. I love it. You see, he has a lot of that on our site. Check it out. Click on on his link so that you can see some of the good writings by our own Tom Sarnik. Come on, you guys can see that. I just saw something from Bruce. Bruce says, time to give up your rant. We're teaching kids to succeed on their own, not as part of a big group. So we are in bad shape. I don't want to be negative, but my only recourse is short-term revolution, long-term environmental extinction. So we need to help each others and those in need whenever possible. And wait. Time to give up my rant. What wasn't that my rant though? Did I miss something? I'm not sure, because that's what I was hoping to do. Tell us to stop being individuals and we are a society. I thought that's what I was saying. Anyhow, let's see. The Daily Beast is let's see. Teachers Union chose to be politically motivated, and it is up to parents to protect. True. E2247 says, Merrick Garland is wasting our time. That's according to new abnormal podcast co-host Andy Levi and the show's brand new permanent co-host Danielle Moody. What's that? Mark is wasting our time. I can't say that, right? We don't know that. Look, if Garland is being methodical to ensure that bad stuff don't happen on appeal, I'm with him. I don't know enough of the law to say that that's true. I know Moody, it surprised me that she says that. Yesterday, I forgot to repeat this link at the end of Egberto's live stream. Conservatives seem to love billionaire philanthropists, not recognizing that a higher tax rate on the filthy rich would be better than philanthropy. That's true. They're currently engaged in, for most billionaires who engage in philanthropy, they're doing it solely for tax breaks. You know what? And Anand Giridharadas made a similar comment. You're absolutely right. Egberto Willis, just in case we run out of time, be grateful and thankful, not just tomorrow, but every day, and compassionate to all. I will always remember that. I will always remember to be compassionate to all. Heading out. See you in a couple days. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And yes, we have about 4 minutes to go. So anybody, let's see what messages I missed here. Come on, let's see if I missed anything. Mike's, let's see. I'm scrolling back up. Egberto, when you say a lot of people just talk and say things, that reminds me of what conservatives call virtue signaling. But what happens when a substantial number of us start talking about the things that matter, the things that will make society better? Thought shifts and society changes. I agree with that. So and that's the idea, I hope, behind my rant, brother Bruce Pollard. In that, yes, we have to put those messages out. Forget about individualism and move forward. That is what I hope to do. I hope to rant on that. Garland being so cautious is allowing the Trump crime spree to continue. Okay. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand all of this, to be sure. So I'm not going to complain until I have reason to complain. And I mean, maybe you're at that point, Robert, that you know it's about time that he should do something. I don't know all the things that they're going through. So in this particular one, I got to stay in my lane. Eric A. says, philanthropists give where they want, not where directed by Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is we the people. So when you say philanthropists give where they want, not where directed to by Uncle Sam, let me rephrase that sentence. Philanthropists individually decide who to give to, while we, the people, can decide together where best it goes. Remember that. When a philanthropist gives away, that's his sole or her sole decision. They're the ones who deem what's necessary. When one philanthropist gives away money that was taken on the backs of all of us and then returns a piece of it to us, they decide where it returns. If we tax that money, bring it into the treasury, we the people, because we decide the politicians that we elect with the policies that we want, we democratically decide how that money is spent. So you see, believe it or not, Eric, your statement was a fascist statement. Think about it. And that is how, and I got to get out of here in a little bit, but that is how the system, that is how they programmed you, right? Government is we the people. So in order for you to somehow believe that the private sector is better for you, even though the private sector is comprised of people who individually are going to decide things for all of us, they first have to get you to disassociate we the people from government. If we can get you to disassociate we the people from government, and then we can get you to hate government, then we can pick your pocket. Because no longer does we the people have control. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! we spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.